Hello. Today I wanted to use the opportunity just to remind you that uh, if your nervous system isn't regulated, it will always be your greatest enemy. Why? I lived that. I knew where I wanted to go and I knew what I wanted to accomplish. I knew that all consciously. But my subconscious was always self-sabotaging me because coming from a background where you always and only were appreciated by amount of sweat, tears and blood that you uh, put in any task, literally my mind couldn't grasp that life can, should, and is best live on easy mode. Literally coming from the childhood that by the challenging relationships of my parents, I was constantly in a fight or flight response, never knowing what's coming next. That whole idea of life on easy mode was something that I literally struggled for years to adapt. But as nothing is random, through the experiences that I thought were the worst of my life, and that's very hard disease that lasted for years, two near-death experiences and two surgeries that lasted more than 3 hours each, I literally had to slow down and to explore this concept of slow and easy mood, so to speak. Most of people who just get into this inner work, they know consciously what they want, but subconscious is something that's blocking them. And that gap in between is their nervous system. Because I know how many times I self-sabotaged great opportunities until I worked on myself and learned how not to do that anymore. Many times it literally felt threatening if I step out of this underdog identity. Why is this happening? Because many times we are afraid of losing people or what's known if we step into easy mode life. So ask yourself, what am I afraid of losing if I start living my life on easy mode? Is it some people from your life who only value you if you are overworked? Is it some familiar pet? As I said many times, your old identity will even try to give up on itself than to let go of what's familiar. But through the repetition and through the being willing to never give up on a new story, eventually the old identity will die because it has no other options. Yes, as the saying goes, the desire to give up is the greatest just before you succeed. Is the same with old identity. So the moment that it will hold you the most to stick on to old is when you are on the verge of the breakthrough. Please never give up, and the blessings that are on the other side are worthy of not giving up. So always be aware that everything in your life is like you set your thermostat on it, whether it's love, whether it's success, whether it's beauty, health, appearance, confidence, money, success, joy. Everything is just our set point in our mind. The great story is that every unwanted paragraph or chapter can be rewritten through the repetition. I invite you to accept the challenge of 1 month, because the old mind always tries to hook you up in the morning and in the evening before you fell asleep, because you're the most receptive to old stories and that monkey mind. But when you block that by rewriting your story right before you go to sleep, that's the window for the subconscious to be the best way undone, so to say. And in the morning, you know how it feels when you wake up in the morning with same old story, with same old unpleasant feelings, like how it works for others and it doesn't work for me, and so on and so forth. It will literally get you by the neck as soon as you open your eyes, if you don't realize and if you're not aware that that's just the old mind creeping in. So the best way to block it is to immediately tell a new story, to come up with something new that you want to install in your subconscious mind. So I'm doing that for a very long time now, and I am literally in awe how it works. I will give you one of the examples. Recently we had one of our bills bigger than usual, so I didn't like it, because it's not by the contract that we sign up with that company. And I literally, in one of my manifestations techniques, it just popped up in my mind. I thought, let's try to bring this bill back onto number that was at the beginning. Guys, literally, when I heard the conversation with one of my family members and the guy that works in that company about that bill being put down on the number that was at the beginning for, I'm not sure whether it's 6 months or a year, but nevertheless it works. It worked with this, it works with everything. That's why the Esther Hicks in Abraham Teaching says it's easy to create the castle as well as it's easy to create the button. What makes the difference is just how you view creating and see creating of a button and creating of a castle. You think that one requires less effort, time, or whatever than the other. That's the only thing that separates the two. Your observation. And if you know how quantum physics works and all that great stuff, you know that everything is just the observer effect. In fact, great scientists say that everything is an illusion, because we, through our limited senses and our limited vision, only perceive 1% of what is going on in the environment daily, because we don't have the capacity unless we change ourselves as the observer. So expand your awareness. That's why it's important to be someone who is no more stuck in a narrow vision, but to become someone who is always having the higher eagle vision. You always see everything from above. And as I also said many times, whatever it is that you have any doubts about, even if this is something you doubt in, try it for yourself, because it's free and you have nothing to lose, and benefits are awesome. So we live in a time now where the synthetic intelligence is popping up more than ever, but what's unchangeable and what will only grow in value is your uniqueness, your organic intelligence and worth. So as the synthetic intelligence is growing, so must you cherish and nourish your uniqueness and your organic intelligence, and that's your soul, that's your essence. That's something that makes you so special, because new currency is frequency. It always was, but unfortunately people were unaware of it. Never be hard on yourself. I remember how many sleepless nights I had because I was wondering, what am I doing wrong? Many times I was overworking, many times I was underdog, many times I was self-sabotaging, because I wasn't aware that I had installed in me programs and limits which I couldn't break. There's zero chance if I didn't get into personal development and into inner work, to realize that it was never about me not being worthy. It was just that I was literally fighting against the weapon that was impossible with that knowledge and that awareness to override. Literally, I was fighting with my 5% of consciousness against 95% of my subconscious, and all the limited beliefs and wrong programs that I installed during my childhood. Even that you shouldn't see as a flawed, because we come here, as I said, with signed contracts. So you probably had many benefits in your family, as I did, but you also signed up for many traumas, for many soul corrections, so to speak, in order for you to grow. Fortunately enough, I was someone who was capable to recognize this, and I was willing to put in the time, effort, and work. There still is a lot of work to be done, but as I said, what I like about my personality is that I'm a lifelong learner, and I will always do my best to expand my awareness and to be the light for those who are at the beginning of the journey. Whenever someone tells you something that triggers you, which was my issue for a long period of time, always be aware that it has nothing to do with them. It just means that there are still some wounds and some openings where you're still bleeding. So you become untouchable, first of all, when you take nothing personally. Never take nothing personally. Let them. Everyone is doing their best from their level of awareness. It was eye-opening for me when I came into this realization, because literally it lifted me up to be more and more into non-reactive consciousness. Yes, I still get triggered from time to time, but in comparing to previous version of myself and my old identity, this is such a liberating feeling. This is freedom, guys. Everyone is doing their best from their level of awareness. The goal is to be in a high state of consciousness, in wealth consciousness, in Christ consciousness, to live your life all day, every day from a place of power, because as I said, you are either in a primal state of being or in a powerful state of being. You can't be in both simultaneously. How you know where you are? By the way how you feel. So I come to you now from a place of power, from a place of my personal power that is not agency power. It has nothing to do with my income, with my job, with my appearance, even though I'm grateful for all of that. My personal power was, is, and always will be coming from the source, from the big guy from the sky, from the infinite intelligence, from the creator of all and everything. So be still and know that I am God. That's the most powerful affirmation for me personally, because stillness speaks more than anything else. Silence is God's language, everything else is poor translation. That's why the breath is so important, and everyone emphasizes about how important it is. You must know that to deep breathly and to be aware of your breath is a privilege. Why? It immediately puts you out of from a fight or flight state, because if you were to run away from, let's say, a wolf now, as our ancestors used to do, you wouldn't be able to breathe deeply, because you would be aware and sane enough to say, fuck the breath, excuse me for my language, let's run for our life. So being aware of a breath immediately puts you and transcends you in a place of a personal power, because subconsciously you're giving the signal to conscious, all is well, we are safe. There is no threats from the outside world. Nevertheless, and not to mention that the sacred place and where your spirit is between you, between two thoughts and between two breaths. Whenever you are facing a decision to make, just connect to that place of your personal power and to that place where your spirit is. That's also a place of heart-brain coherence, because when you slow down, your heart and brain become coherent. Impulses become coherent, and you immediately send out your currency in a form of your frequency, and you become, as you always are, the antenna for life to mirror you. So as long as you are, and if you are still blaming others or circumstances, which I struggled for too long with, that means that you didn't yet become aware that, first of all, there must be responsibility, your ability to respond, then forgiveness, because forgiveness will literally catapult you to the greatest version of you. As I said, take nothing personally, everyone is doing their best from their level of awareness. It will give you freedom that you never experienced before. You will become less reactive, and you will live your life from a place of highest state of consciousness. And that's what's the mission of all of us, to elevate each other and to be the light for those who are still navigating. I also heard a great story because I remember when I had this form of enlightenment and spiritual awakening, that I thought that people who are close to me will literally run into my hug and worship me and say, "Oh, we love you, our light bringer." No, the opposite happened. Why? Because I realized later that they get used to their darkness. So me bringing the light and switching the lights on was uncomfortable for them. It was scary for them. And I understand even that now, because it was scary for me too. As I said, my identity, old previous identity, was rather choosing that than accepting the new one, powerful one. So for a long, I tried to explain myself. I tried to, because they were suspicious. It was like I said, that crab effect. Why is she holding the light now when we get used to live here for decades and centuries in darkness? Expect to be not understood, but that's okay. Your responsibility is to nourish your light. Those who choose to companion you and to gather to you, welcome them. Those who, even after you brought the light, choose to remain in darkness, let them. Let them. Never force nobody and never force anything to others, because as the saying goes, when the student is ready, the guru appears. So that just means that those people, even though you love them dearly, are yet just not ready to be in the spotlight. But nevertheless, do the work and nourish the light. We need light more than ever. My hair got crazy because I just washed her, but ignore that fact. Focus on something else. I wish you awesome weekend, and as I said, whatever it is that you might doubt, try it for yourself. The blessings are huge, and once you become addicted to the freedom, once you become addicted to learning and expanding, and it feels like your heart suddenly not just becomes open, but it becomes bigger. I don't know whether that comes from compassion or from being the spirit, as we all are, but the feeling is something that can't be described, and nothing from the physical world can give you such a feeling like that feeling of open and expanded heart and awareness is. I wish that all for you, and I will continue as long as I breathe to bring the light and share the light. I love you. Thank you for being here, and talk to you soon.